Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So we're in a little bit of a different area. We're in my living room because I was tired of filming in my office, my library if you will. But it is finally time for a March wrap up. I know I am super late. I'm super late every month. But here are the 13 books that I read in March. I do want to preface this by saying I'm sorry how late I am to getting these wrap-up videos up and TBR videos. School's kicking my butt. It's full-time. I have a part-time job and I'm a full-time student. So anytime that I'm not at work, I'm doing schoolwork. So I'm very, very busy. I'm surprised I even read this much, but most of these books that are going to be talked about were in my swapping my screen time for reading video, but I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth in this video. So yeah, if you hear chewing, it's my pup. He's chewing on his thing. I don't know what he's chewing on. My reading month was really weird. I usually have between 3 to 5 5-star reads, but this month I think I only had one 5-star read, but almost all of the books that I read were really good. They were high 5 or high 4 stars. So I think I had a good reading month. I just didn't have a lot of 5 stars. The first book that I read in the month of March was Finley Donovan is Killing It by El Cosmano. I rated this book 4.5 stars. I really, really liked it. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. Mysteries aren't completely my thing, but I really, really loved this. It had kind of a note of comedy in it, so it made it fun. The book was so outlandish. Basically, it follows Finley. She is a mother to 2 kids. She's a single mom, and things are not going good in her life at the moment, and she's a writer. She meets up with her agent or whatever, and she starts talking about the plot of her new book, and the lady that's sitting next to her in her meeting, they're in a Panera, I think, and the lady sitting next to her and her agent overhears it and thinks that she's actually an assassin and hires her to assassinate somebody. And you just follow it, and I think it's so good. I thought it was so funny, and I loved the other person. I don't know if I want to say it because I really liked not knowing that was going to happen, but there's another person in this that kind of helps Finley, and I freaking love her so much. I loved the relationship. I loved the mess of Finley Donovan. I think it was just really fun, and it was just a good little fun book to read. I think it was fun. I'm really wanting to read the next book this month, so hopefully I will. The next book I read was Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I rated it 4 stars. It's a YA book, and I think it's Talia Hibbert's first YA. It's her newest release. It follows Bradley and Celine. They used to be very, very close best friends when they were younger, and they ended up separating, and now they hate each other completely. They go on this survival course to win a scholarship of some sort, and they have to do it together. And that was fun. I really liked that. And then obviously they start realizing, oh my god, I don't actually hate them. I love them. And the thing that irked me the most, the reason why it's 4 stars, is because when you look at this cover and you read the synopsis on the back, you imagine that most of the book is going to take place in this survival course. It's a 2-week, 2-part course. It's a 2-part course, and it takes place over a good amount of time. So you think that most of the book is going to revolve around that, which I thought was so fun. It doesn't. It's a very short part of the book, which wasn't very fun because it just there was a lot of spaces that were very long. It was just drawn out. And I did have a fun time reading it. I really loved the survival part course, and yeah, it was a good, fun YA novel. The next book that I read was Kingdom of the Curse by Carrie Maniscalco. This was my only 5-star read of the month. 5 stars. Loved this so freaking much. It was so good. I absolutely love these characters, this plot, everything, this world, everything about this series I am absolutely enthralled in. I love it. It's so good. Wrath is amazing. Emilia, I'm obsessed with her. I think she's so cool. And I just had a fun time reading this. even if it was like a boring part of them just talking about strawberries, like if they were talking about anything, I would love it, because I love these characters and I love everything about this. And I think I love this book more than I loved the first book, which was really surprising because I really freaking loved the first book and I had such a fun time. This one was even better. I love it so much. It was so good. I don't want to talk about this book because it will spoil the first book. So I read the first book back in January. Back in February. So go watch that wrap up if you want to know what the first book is about. But I think this one was so much better. I love the setting of this, the kind of character development that Amelia took, and like the character development that Wrath took. Like, it was just so good and it was so well written, and I'm really hoping I can get to the third book this month as well. It was so good. I'm sad to like end the series, but like I want to know how it wraps up, and I'm definitely gonna miss this world when it's done. The next book I read was The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is the third and final book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. This follows Cal. He is the third brother in the brothers, and it follows Cal and Alana. This is a second chance romance. Basically, Cal has to sell the lake house, but Alana is living in the lake house and she doesn't want it sold, and they had a past between them and it's bad and they hate each other. Well, actually, he doesn't hate her, she hates him, and she's going through a lot of emotional turmoil being around him, and they kind of have to learn through all that. So I ended up reading this 4.5 stars. I really, really liked it. A lot of people don't love the second chance part of the book, and I really liked it. I liked how Cal knew a lot of the stuff that she liked and a lot of the stuff that like he knows about her. I just liked that. I love second chance. I think it's so fun. And I know a lot of people don't love it, but I personally loved it. The only thing is the length. It was the length that didn't make it 5 stars for me. A lot of the end of it dragged on like crazy. It felt like a slow burn when it didn't need to be a slow burn. Does that make sense at all? But it was way too long. It's like almost 600 pages. Yeah, it's like 30 pages, 20 pages from 600 pages. It's way too long. I get it's setting up for the next series that Lauren Asher's gonna write, but come on. You could have made it like 400 and it would have been fine. But Cal's definitely my favorite brother. I really liked, he's not like, the other two are very grumpy and just businessmen. He's not. He's recovering from a lot of these past feelings that he's had, a lot of the past trauma that he's endured. And endured? Is that endured? Is that a word? Anyways, Alana and him both have been through a lot in their past, and they have a lot of feelings that they need to come to terms with, and that's what happens in this book, and that's why I really love it. Is it's not just completely about the romance. They're there for each other to help themselves heal, and I really, really liked that. I definitely liked Cal because he was more down to earth than the other two. I gave the other 2 books 5 stars, but that's whenever I was first started reading, and I don't know. I really, really, really love Terms and Conditions. I think Terms and Conditions would stay a 5 star for me because it was so good and I had such a fun time reading it. The Fine Print would also be brought down to probably a 4.5, but this is definitely at a 4.5. But I'm leaving those at, let's talk a minute. Let's talk. My rating system has changed a lot since obviously I started reading, and I don't know, like there's a bunch of books that I gave 5 stars when I first started reading, but I don't want to change that because that's how I felt in that moment. They probably aren't 5 stars to me anymore, but I remember the feeling that it gave. Like The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, it was a 5 star for me. Absolutely. I absolutely love that book. It gave me the best feeling, and I'm still gonna keep it at a 5 stars because it gave me that 5 star feeling then. But before we continue on, I wanted to talk about like my rating system in this video because I've never really talked about it. I still don't fully know my rating system. I'm pretty lenient on rating. Like 5 stars, obviously we know that 5 star feeling. 4 stars, they're enjoyable, they're good. There is some things that I found wrong with it, but it's very like, it's not average, but it's above average, but it's not shooting for the stars, 5 stars. But it's a good book, like highly suspicious and fairly cute. That's a 4-star. There were some problems that I had with it, but overall I had a good, enjoyable time reading it. 3 stars, I really didn't like it. I honestly, if it's a 3-star, I didn't like it, but I understand why people do like it. I feel like rating it 2 stars if I didn't like it. Like The Secret History, I rated 2.5. The 0.5 is because I know a lot of people love it, but 2-star, I hated it, and I don't see how anybody liked it. But like other 3-star reads, like what if I rated 3 stars? Like I didn't enjoy it. There's high 3 stars and there's low 3 stars. Like high 3 stars, there were some enjoyable parts. It's just a very average book. There's nothing exciting about it. But low 3 stars, I really didn't enjoy it, but I understand why people do like it. 2 stars, I didn't like it. 1 star, absolutely hated it. If it's a 1 star, it's a terrible freaking book. I've never rated a book 1 star. I feel like that's so mean. So there's my rating system. Sorry. I've never really addressed it. I never really knew what my rating system was. So the next book that I read was A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman. This was the first book that I've ever read by this author, so I was really hoping to love it, which I did. I ended up rating it a 4.5 stars. At first, after I finished it, I was like 5 stars. This is so good. Like, it was so good. But as I sat on it longer, I was like, I'm going to bring it down to a 4.5. But it was so good. It was a little slow in the first half, but at the end, I was bawling my eyes out. The literal end, like the epilogue, I cried so freaking hard. Like, I was literally sitting on this couch bawling my eyes out at like 11 o'clock at night because I had to finish the book. I had to finish and see what happened. But this basically follows Ove. He's an old man, grumpy old man, and you just kind of follow him. There's this new, newlywed couple that moves in. Next door to him, and they kind of just like bring him into the family with him, and obviously he's grumpy, he doesn't want them there, and he's just like this old man. He has some old opinions, and I just think he really grows on you as the story goes along, and he's just great. He's a great old man, and I love Ove. I can't wait to watch the movie with Tom Hanks in it, but I definitely want to read more Fredrik Backman because this was really good. The next book I read was The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. Guys, I am so surprised by my opinion on this book. I thought I was going to hate it. I did not think I was going to like this. I've been putting it off for so long, and I finally read it. I loved it. I thought it was so good. I rated it 4.25 stars. Like, it was so good. It was a slow burn, but it was like perfect because the tension was there. Aaron Blackford. Aaron Blackford. He's the blueprint. He's amazing. Oh my god. I'm so happy with how this book turned out for me because I literally thought I was not going to like this book, and I ended up absolutely loving this book. It was so good. It follows Catalina and Aaron. They are workplace enemies, and Catalina needs to go back to Spain for a wedding in her family, and she needs a fake boyfriend. And Aaron's like, I'll do it. I'll go with you. I offer myself up. I'll go with you. And so they go. They have to fake date. They fall in love. It was so freaking good. The tension, everything was so good. And a lot of people don't like how late the wedding came in the story, but I loved it. I loved, it was so good. I think it was so well paced. I loved the slow burn. I don't think it was anything, I don't know. There was some boring parts in the story, and the third act breakup was really stupid to me. I didn't enjoy the third act breakup. I was waiting for it to just get done. But overall, I really, really liked this book, and I really recommend it, and I can't wait to read The American Roommate Experiment. So I'm very excited. I'm so happy I love this book. Now we're going into the books that I read for the Swapping My Screen Time with Reading video. The next book I read was Restore Me by Tahereh Mafi. This is the, I think, 4th book in the Shatter Me series. I love this. I rated it 4.5 stars. It was so good. There was some parts where Juliet was really pissing me off. She was annoying me so bad in this book. But the ending of this was so good. The pace is so good. I love the Shatter Me series. It's so good. I love the Shatter Me series. And I just really, really enjoyed this story. I love the way it left off. I was kind of nervous about this because I know that this the first 3 were supposed to be a set trilogy, and then she added on to it years later. So I was really nervous about going on to it because I was like, it's going to be a completely different storyline, which it kind of is a different storyline, but it flows into the next storyline really, really nicely. Like, she's obviously a talented author. So I really, really liked this book, and I'm of course going to continue the series. The next book I read was The Goal by Elle Kennedy. This is the 4th book in the Off-Campus series. The one, like, this is the last full couple and then the epilogue novel. This one follows Tucker and Sabrina. They have a little one-night stand and something happens. If you don't want to know, kind of skip, but it's a pregnancy trope. She gets pregnant, and you kind of find that out in the score. It literally says it like in the epilogue, but they kind of have to figure that out. And yeah, I actually really like. I enjoyed this more than I thought I would. It was a 4.25 stars, just like Spanish Love Deception. I didn't know how much I'd like it with the pregnancy trope, but I really enjoyed it. I think it was paced really, really well to make me enjoy it. So that was a plus on Elle Kennedy. If it was paced differently, I feel like I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. And Tucker is amazing. He is a gentleman and he makes me blush, let me tell you. Tucker is a great man, and I'm so happy I read this book. But now that was like the last book of the couples. I'm obviously going to continue on into the Briar U series, but I'm just going to miss these couples and seeing the boys. Like, I love the boys and the girls. Like, I love their friendships between them, like the 4 boys and the 4 girls. The next book I read was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I ended up rating this a 3 stars. I can't decide if it's a high 3 or low 3. I can't decide. I'm gonna do average 3. It was an average book. It follows the Sinclairs, and they go to this private island in Massachusetts, and the main character, I forgot her name, Cadence, I think, she has an accident on one of the summers, and she misses a couple summers and comes back, and she lost all her memories from that summer, so she's coming back trying to figure out all those memories, and she figures them out. And I will tell you, the plot twist I was not expecting. Like, I was trying to guess the plot twist the whole time. I never guessed it. I was surprised. But the writing was very weird to me. Like, I don't know how to explain it. The writing was very, very weird. And I just didn't love it. I didn't love the author's writing. I don't know. That's why it's a 3-star. The writing, I couldn't connect to the characters. I couldn't connect to the story. Like, I wasn't connected. I was just reading to read. And luckily it was really short, so I didn't have to like suffer for 400 pages. But yeah, I would say low 3. The author's writing was very hard for me to connect to. The characters, plot, everything. I just couldn't connect to the story at all. The next book I read was Stolen Heir by Sophie Lark. This is the 2nd book in the Brutal Birthright series. This follows Nessa and Macaulay. I'm just gonna say Macaulay. Macaulay has a problem with Nessa's family, so he kidnaps her, and then they start a romance from there. I love Sophie Lark's writing. I rated this book 4 stars. She knows how to tell a story. I'm just saying, like, she knows how to tell a story. She's so good. Like, I love her, and I want to read every single book that Sophie Lark comes out with. But anyways, the only reason this was 4 stars is because the whole kidnapping situation, it didn't feel like a true romance. Like, it didn't feel like the love was there. It felt like a Stockholm Syndrome type of feel. That's literally what it felt like. Like, you fall in love with your captor. Like, yeah, that's a good dark romance, but it just doesn't feel authentic. And it definitely felt fake. It felt fake. So that's why it's 4 stars, but I love Sophie Lark. I love Nessa in this book, though. Like, she's just a sweet, bright person, and of course I'm going to continue on with the series. So the next book that I read was Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn. This is a mystery thriller. It follows a group of 4 of these older women that retire. They are like assassins, and then they start getting hunted by their old agency that they were a part of. And they are on the run, trying to figure out why they're getting hunted. I ended up rating this 3 stars. I would say high 3 stars. It was a very interesting plot. It was a very interesting storyline. Like, I enjoyed the storyline, but I didn't really care about the reveal. Like, I didn't care towards the end. I was just like, okay, like, that was obvious. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, I didn't have any physical reactions to, like, the plot twist. but I loved the characters and I loved like the comedy in it and the banter. Like that was fun. And like the little like on the run thing. Like I just think this would be a really good movie. Like it was fun, but it wasn't like amazing. It was average. So I don't have much to say about this. I really don't have any thoughts on this book. It was just a fun time reading it. I just was reading it. Vibes, I guess. The next book that I read was In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. I don't remember what I rated this. I think I rated it 4.25, 4.5. Very close. I think it was a 4.5. But I really liked this. This follows Shay and Noah. Shay's step-grandmother died and gives Shay the tulip farm, but she has to get married within the year and she has to live on the farm in her old hometown. Not necessarily hometown, but her like childhood town. And Noah is a single dad to his niece, and he's neighbors to Shay. I'm sorry, Milo has like this mini soccer ball and he's hitting himself in the face with it. Anyways, Noah is neighbors to Shay and owns his family's business. They used to know each other in high school, and Noah had this huge crush on Shay. Shay didn't know that, but they used to be like really close in high school, I guess. Like I didn't read it. But Noah offers to marry her so she can keep the tulip farm. And also, I didn't mention this, Shay's fiance left her at the altar. So that's also another thing that she has to get through. But I really, really enjoyed this. It was very much a slow burn, but I had a really fun time reading it. There were some parts where I'm like, okay, let's get the story rolling. Why are we taking so long? But you want to know the number one reason it's probably a 4.5? Let me tell you. Because Noah just said wife all the time. Ugh, it was so cringy. Just saying wife as like an endearment, and it was so cringy the way that he said it. It was cringing me out. And then also the kid in this book, I liked her at first because she was like this bad kid that came from, it's his niece, and like her mom wasn't very good, so she came from like a broken kind of home. And Jenny, I think it was Jenny, but she just cussed all the time. And like they were starting at the beginning saying like, hey, we don't cuss, but then just let it keep happening, and it was pissing me off. And also, like, if the kid could just go away, things could actually happen. Like, they could actually have their first kiss, and this book could have been 300 pages shorter. She was just always there, and sometimes I just wish she would go away. So that's why it's 4.5. 4.25, yeah. But I did really enjoy this. I know a lot of people didn't love this, but I liked it. The last and final book that I read this in March was The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. Spoiler alert, I didn't like it. I rated 3 stars, a low 3. Basically, it follows 6 mediums, basically like magicians, and they get picked to be a part of the Alexandrian Society, where they battle each other to be the 5 chosen to be a part of it. This was so boring. Like, there were some good parts, like Libby I liked, and Tristan I liked, and Nico. Those were the 3 characters that I liked. The rest of them I didn't really care about at all. What was the other guy's name? Callum. Didn't like him. Parissa, she was annoying. The other girl, I forgot her name because she was so irrelevant to me. It was just boring, and I was waiting for it to be over with. I'm so upset that I didn't like it, but I didn't like it. The, like, ending plot twist kind of thing, I guessed, like, literally, like, 150 pages before the end, before it happened. Like, it was kind of obvious. So, I just literally, the last, like, 15 pages, I skipped. I skipped it. I did not care. I don't care to read the next one or the third one. I didn't like it. I don't think I like dark academia. Like, I just don't think dark academia is for me. Those were the 13 books that I read in March. See, I would say I had a pretty good reading month. I did have a lot of like 3-star books than I usually have. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video. So sorry this is out so late. I will try to get it up soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.